Hey, coming up right now, a woman makes a run for the border to teach her boyfriend a lesson, and we're not talking about Taco Bell.
No, we're not. Also coming up, a tech company wants to share your dreams by breaking into your mind.
Ooh, a little bit later on, meet the woman who cried ice cream after visiting a sweet New York museum.
Daily Flash starts right now. Double scoop.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Jackson.
She smells like it, smells delicious. She sure is. Hey, everybody, I am Mitch English. Thank you for joining us on the show. It's called Daily Flash.
Yeah!
There we go.
Daily Flash.
We do it
Let me
daily.
just
Write that down.
Daily Flash.
As you do that, I'll introduce you to the man to my right, which is Matty Doolittle. How are you there, Matt?
I'm good.
Mateus.
But
Thank you.
So I've got a discussion. We're coming up on the holiday season, and we all remember going to the malls and enjoying that that process of shopping, right?
Hey, we grew up in the
Smell
80s,
of
yes.
popcorn and orange Julius.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up. Is the popcorn smell? Nick and I grew up in the same area, and we were talking about earlier. It's like I don't want to buy clothes from the mall now because they smell like butter popcorn.
Oh,
Like,
that's a bad
you
thing?
know the one mall I'm talking about
do,
in the area,
yes.
and you
Yeah.
walk in and just get slapped in the face with butter.
It's kind of like when you go to the airport in Cinnabon. You be in the security line, and you can smell it. It's in like Terminal D.
Some people
But yeah, there is that very
But I don't want my
prominent
clothes soaked in it that I bought, because you take them home and they still smell like it.
smell. Like the popcorn.
Yeah.
I don't like butter on my popcorn. Are you a popcorn butter person?
I like the kettle corn.
Kettle corns. Oh yeah. Well, if I choose any, it'd be kettle corn.
It's the sweet and salty. It's the
Yeah.
perfect combination. When you go to those street fairs, oh my gosh,
Always
the
have.
smell of
and
kettle
they freshly
corn.
made too.
Oh my god.
Good stuff. I'll smell like kettle corn. I have no problem with that, man. You got a problem with kettle corn?
Kettle corn's fine.
okay.
And also, we have a good farmer's market, so it's outside. I just
Yes.
don't want it soaking in
Okay.
my clothes when I buy it.
Okay, I gotcha. So you don't want your suits from the mall to smell
No,
like butter
no.
popcorn. Okay.
There's no issue with that.
No
whatever.
issue with that. I think I can be
can
on board
appreciate
with
it.
that.
Sure.
Haunted houses. Would you buy a house if you knew it was haunted?
Okay, I've heard this question asked before, and it's
Yeah.
been asked to me. I would say if it was a really good deal. That's about the only
was a
thing.
really good deal.
Now, would I live in it? Probably not.
Okay.
But nowadays, I couldn't see myself living in a haunted house.
There are only a handful of states that require owners
right, yeah.
to disclose the fact that their house may or may not be haunted. Only New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and Minnesota have legal provisions on the books about haunted home disclosures. And in New York, it all started with a 1991 New York ruling called the Ghostbusters ruling, believe it or not. Yes, it did. Because one person sold a home but did not disclose it was haunted until after the fact, and then promoted that a poltergeist was living in this house. So the new owner said, hey, you never told me this. So then the deal was completely scrapped, and this rule became law in the
And
book.
it seems like it would be a little bit different than like if a crime scene happened there, or maybe somebody was murdered, because
Yes.
that should be the due diligence of the purchaser, right?
But that's not always required either in every state. So unless you ask.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But how can you call the cops up and say there's a ghost in my house? And them
Well,
thinking-
that is
You know what I'm
true,
saying?
yes.
But I mean, like if you're buying a home, you should do some research on
Who
it.
are you going to call?
Ghostbusters
You are.
is my understanding.
See if the
Would you?
laws.
Okay, so would you buy a home if you knew that a crime scene occurred there?
I wonder about that.
I couldn't.
I think
I'd be
I would
too
have a
freaked out.
huge issue
Yeah.
about it. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
come on. We live in Florida. There's a crime scene committed in almost every
I guess it
house
depends
here.
on what the crime
So,
was,
I
right?
mean,
Well, I mean, any body of water is probably a crime scene, right?
That's true. You go swimming all the time.
It's true.
That's good. That's something that you should contemplate behind that, because you fall in love with the house and you see it in all the movies. You fall in love with the
Yeah.
house and you find out it's haunted, and then what do you do after that? You get a small woman to come in, and
Yeah.
your kid's starting to look at the TV.
You watch The Conjuring and then it's all over.
Yeah,
buy some sage.
I would say just turn everything, buy the house, turn it into an Airbnb, make it a scary site, make money off
See,
of
there
it.
you go.
Well,
That
that's-
Pays for itself.
There
People
you go.
love that.
That's
type of
a great great point. You're right. People do pay to like sleep and experience the haunted exposure.
Pass the dead people on to the people instead of passing the savings on.
Pass other people on to other people.
There you go. Check this out. A woman posted a video revealing how she deported her undocumented boyfriend back to Mexico after he cheated on her. That's pretty awesome.
That's revenge.
Revenge for sure. She's a Texas resident. She recalled how she began plotting her vengeance. She invited him on a day trip with an overnight drive to Six Flags amusement park in San Antonio. Now, when he woke up, they were actually in Mexico at a secondary checkpoint. That's when she confronted him over the infidelity, kicked him out of the car, and ended the relationship. She posted a recent update that her ex has already crossed the border and is back in the United States. So, undocumented or not, she's after. Now, I guess she found out. I don't know if she put some kind of GPS on him.
He
must have contacted her.
But that's cold, man.
Well,
that's some Clint Eastwood cold right there.
And now, falling asleep, like that couldn't be part of her plan. I mean, you know, if he fall, you know what I'm saying? It must have. I would hope that she didn't drug him or anything.
No, but I think what happened is she picked him up late, like right after work at night, and then decided to drive and do the trip. Wow. So I think he fell asleep. She's like, "Don't worry, you sleep, I'll drive." Okay. And then once they got there, I think she even threw a $50 bill at him and said, "We're done," and good luck.
Well, that's nice of her. At least
she gave him some cash.
You got to side with the woman in this one. I mean, if you that dumb to get caught cheating, and she's the only place you got to stay with her the entire time.
She's going to help you get your visa. You better.
I don't know if the $50 helped him get back across the border, or maybe it worked out better for him at this point in the game.
It sounds like it.
Yeah,
come on to somebody
probably
else.
Staying in a fancy New York hotel right now. Our researchers say they've achieved the first ever communication between two dreamers. This is crazy. A company called REM Space claims they were able to exchange a simple message between two people who were asleep and dreaming. Two participants agreed to allow a tech device to record their brain waves while they slept in their own homes. After the company's server detected one person entering a lucid dream state, it generated a random word and repeated it to him via earbuds.
Weird.
8 minutes later, the second candidate entered their lucid dream state. The server then transmitted the stored message, which was repeated when they both woke up, marking the first ever chat exchanged in dreams. Lucid dreaming occurs when a person is aware that they are dreaming while they are asleep.
Okay, and they talk about people that are in coma. They're aware. Well, we had that story, I think, I don't know, a week ago or so. Yes. A guy was about to get
organ
donation, and he woke up. That's, I guess, what motivated him to be able to do it. So you kind of wonder what our subconscious could be able to do. Yeah. If you're wearing earbuds or whatever, and you're getting those words. I wonder how much science there is on this. I'm not going to give it all to it.
Yeah,
I can understand. I think the earbuds. Had he been listening to anything, but it's where it came from. I want to know what the word was. Was it fart? And he walked. You know what I'm saying? That would wake you up, right? You think about
it was
rosebud. Yeah, exactly.
But what if, guys, we've all had this. Yep. You wake up and your woman's mad at you because you cheated in her dreams. What? Then you end up in Mexico. So she knew you were cheating in the dream, and then you end up in Mexico. I don't need that.
With a $50 bill, you don't know what to do with.
I'm going to be honest. We're closer and closer to Demolition Man. If you look at the scene between Sandra Bullock and Sylvester Stallone,
and the three.
Good morning. That woke you up.
And the three shells were that close.
Think about that. All right, an Idaho man who holds the most Guinness World Records for blowing a playing card just added another win. Actually, these playing cards, it's not a nickname. Anyway, David Rush, he said that he thought beating the previous record of 12 feet would actually be easy, considering he broke the record for the farthest distance to blow a pea at nearly 85 feet. Now, he was able to blow the card 33 feet, breaking the previous record by a factor of 269%. So, guess what, Maddie and James, we're going to have you guys see if you can break the record here as well. Now, our table's our desk, 6 feet or so? And we're going to see who can blow a playing card the farthest in just 15 seconds. So if you guys, we're going to clear off the desk here. Okay. We'll put you on each side here. How about that? I guess I should.
I'll do the timer.
There you go. Very good. Pick a card, any card. We'll allow you to do that. All right. There's your first one, 8 of diamonds. And Maddie's got the 7 of clubs. I don't think that makes any difference whatsoever.
You said 15 seconds,
15 seconds on there. So we'll do it first. Well, how about, because they'll be constantly, they'll be going against each other. So we'll go first, 15 seconds, and then the other side.
Okay, so all right, Matt, on your mark, get set, go.
All right, I would say that's 2 feet. All
right. Did you put it on the edge?
15 seconds.
15. Oh, well, it's
you put it on the edge like that, right?
Okay.
I just want to make sure.
8 of diamonds. Here we go. Take it. Very nice. All right,
you
so
were a
round
pro
one.
athlete.
I'm
Round
single.
one goes to
I'm
James.
single, ladies. I'm single.
Round one is James. Very good. Here goes our next one. You got the Joker. Matt, okay. And James using
James,
the.
here we go.
Here we go. James, now what is the technique
Wait,
on
yeah.
this?
You
Very
know what?
nice.
You know what?
I am
can
single.
see.
Let's go.
I can see the technique. There's a bend in the knee.
That's
There you go.
what it
And
is.
It's
there's
that
a
football. I got
position.
football.
I got to put a little more oomph
Yeah.
in
You want
it.
to try one more? We got about
All
10
right.
seconds
You
left.
got a three.
Here we
Two
go.
out of
All right.
three.
Here we
Two out of
go.
three. Remember, aces are wild.
Here we go.
Matt,
That
we
knee
got to
bend
work on
did
your
not work
technique.
for you.
Finally, here we go.
I ain't got no kids.
Very nice. James, our
Three out of
winner.
three, James.
And if you're wondering, yes, folks, this is the only thing on this television network right now. We have got more coming up. Congratulations,
It's our Emmy.
James.
It's our Emmy right there.
We have more right after this. We're talking Nat Geo photographer Jason Edwards about his new book coming up.
Welcome back to Daily Flash.
Hey, I'm Mitch English, along with Andrea Jackson.
Yes.
He has actually spent the last 3 decades. He travels from more than 70 countries.
Yeah, he's been bit, chased, shot at, jailed, and had his finger stitched back on twice. That's just a Tuesday, I think.
Right.
No, he is wildlife photographer Jason Edwards, and he's joining us now to discuss his new book, Icebergs to Iguanas. Please
Hey.
welcome to the show, Jason Edwards.
Jason, welcome to Daily Flash.
Thanks, man.
Tell me about
Thanks for having me.
Jason, tell me about your connection with animals. Was it something you're like, hey, they make great subjects because they're easier to you take pictures of? Like, give us a little bit about your background.
So I actually grew up in what would be regarded as a halfway house for wildlife. My father was a long-haul truck driver, always bringing home injured owls and kangaroos and things like that. So there were snakes in the backyard, reptiles. So I never really knew a childhood without the immersion of wildlife. And then I became a zookeeper at 18 for 12 years, working with big cats and primates. So I think my degrees are all in the animal sciences. I think I was just destined to go down that path.
Nice.
Your work with National Geographic has taken you to every single continent. What are some of the most memorable moments from your journeys around the world?
That's a great question. I mean, it's one of the things after more than 30 years on the road is I try and find everything and everyone interesting. Otherwise, it's really hard to leave home. I've got a family, of course. But I mean, when you get the opportunity to sleep in trees, 10 feet above lions, see 2 lions below you and see the light change over ice in Antarctica, or a storm in the Amazon once took 45 minutes to reach me, and it sounded like there was a steam train coming through the forest. I mean, all of these opportunities are just staggering, let alone the Indigenous people that I get to work with around the planet.
You are obviously not afraid to take chances here, but imagine that comes with extreme patience, because we only get to see the end result.
Yes.
We don't see how much work that it takes to get that one shot. Let's say of a rare hummingbird or something. I'm just picking this out. How much preparation does it take? Or is it like, hey, I'm walking along and you see a hummingbird and take a picture? Walk us through that. I want to know.
Well, actually, sometimes it is. You're walking along and then that thing is there. But, I mean, a good example, there's a really rare mammal in Australia called a northern hairy-nosed wombat. It took 3 years for myself and a journalist to convince an editor to let me sit in a tree for 5.5 weeks. I sat in that tree for 20 hours a day, covered in swarm ticks, which if you scratch the bites, it's like having the mange and you can't stop. But I couldn't move because the animal's so timid. I took one photo in 5.5 weeks, and it took my wife 9.5 months with tick tweezers to get all of the ticks off my body. So that one shot wasn't even very good. I had to go back. It was a terrible photo. It was a terrible photo.
No.
But that was hard. That was hard work. It was, and you're sitting there, and during the day it's like 120, and at night it's 0. And this animal's nocturnal, so basically I'd get there when it was 120 and have to wait until it got to 0.
I don't know how you do it, man. Wow.
All night until the sun came up. So,
and to hear that story, can I say something? Jason, to hear that story makes you appreciate what you do more, because we live in a world of AI where like, show me the wild-tailed herring in a tree and it's not real. For you to do that gives me that much more appreciation for what you do and wildlife photographers do as well.
Yeah, when you see these images, it looks so amazing, but there's also serious risk involved, not only patience. Did you ever think, you know what, this might be a little bit too dangerous?
Only once I had Will, my son. That's when it changed a little bit initially. And I think the first few years at home, Geographic actually kept me at home so that I would have that time with Will. But once he got older and I still had to get on planes and go to unstable countries politically or on dangerous shoots, the psychology had to shift. And to be honest, Megan, my wife's amazing. She's so pragmatic. At one point, I was so distressed on a shoot. It was unstable. I wasn't distressed for that, but she said, you need to make a decision here and now. You are getting on planes and doing what you've always done, putting yourself at risk. And I have had so many diseases. If you can think of a disease or a rebuild, I have had it. I've had disc punched out, fingers scratched, arms wet, my head stitched back, flaps stick back on a few times, and insects living behind my eyeballs. And she says to me, you've got to get on that plane, because if you don't, you need to find something else to do that keeps you at home. That's incredible. I don't think our marriage had survived me being at home the whole time.
Hey, you talked about one of the most patience thing. You got to be a patient father. I mean, wow, first off. But let's talk about some of the magical experiences that maybe an experience that you had that maybe might have changed your life, or really just said, along with what your wife's support, was a really magical experience. Can you share that with us?
For sure. So it was actually one of my first shoots, actually my first shoot in Africa. So decades ago, and I'd been on the road for 3.5 months, and this wildebeest herd approaches this river and starts crossing. Crocodiles are grabbing them, lions are grabbing them, and the herd fractures. And the sky turns this ashen grey, and the herd moves across, and a single giraffe moved into the herd for protection of wildebeest. And the picture's in the book. You'll see it in the book. And it must have hit a high point in the ground, because the giraffe looks even larger than giraffes are. And I sat there at that moment. I only took 2 frames. And that frame to this day is the frame that I connect myself. That changed my life, my career path, and to be quite honest with you, who I was as a person and how I saw the world, because it was just so magical, so biblical, if you like. It was so spiritual for me to see that scene that I thought to myself, this is where I'm meant to be. This is what I'm meant to do. And I was fortunate enough as a young person to have a passion and have some skill, to manage to do a career in that. Yeah.
Jason, you wow, incredible, right?
Amazing. Jason, we could talk to you all day.
No kidding,
Thank you so much for joining us. Jason's new book, From Icebergs to Iguanas, is now available on Amazon. You can also find out more about Jason at his website, jasonedwards.co. And
again, get this book, because it'll appreciate what photographers have to do and what art really is. Really.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. I am Matt Doolittle. Welcome to your weekly furry friends. Well, big news out of New York City. The legislation was just introduced in the city council that would change the way pet owners take care of their furry friends. Right. So in New York City, they earned a Safe and Sick Time Act lets employees take time off to look after their own health and their family members, or even like their kids if they're at school, bereavement type of stuff. If the school's closed, they can watch them, or if there's an emergency or anything like that. Well, this new bill, employees might soon be able to use that sick time to care for their pets and service animals as well, which I think is a great way to, introduce this. Here's how it would work. The bill proposes that sick leave could be used if your pet or service animal needs medical care, whether it's for an illness, an injury, or just regular checkups. The legislation would apply to animals that are service animals primarily, but if you can count them as a companion, you can do it too. So it's covering a lot of ground. This is a first of its kind move, and if it passes, it could set a precedent for other cities. We'll have to keep you updated on this, but I think it's a great way to introduce this, because a lot of us rely on our pets for a lot more, and we consider them our family, right, guys? Right, I mean, what do you guys think about that?
Absolutely.
I think there are people that will take advantage of it, unfortunately. But why look at that sort of thing needs to be governed as well. If you're taking off every week because your cat's sick, maybe you know what I'm saying.
You might have more of an issue. But I do think some people, their pets are their kids. So if one's sick, or God forbid you lose a pet, there's time to mourn. You need. I
agree. A service animal should probably be with you at work anyway.
Yes.
So I would get with that.
And this next furry friend story, and Mitch and you and I can kind of kind of relate to this.
Yeah.
Some mouthy pets need to be adopted every once in a while. I'd like to thank my wife for taking a chance on me. Well, a couple in Central PA took a chance on this good boy, Jax, and found him a forever home. So the problem with him was Jax, who was housed for almost a year in a Central PA Humane Society shelter, was described as a mouthy pit bull and Rottweiler mix. The staff said he would jump around 24/7 and was mouthy due to his pent-up energy. Well, they posted his story on their Facebook, and some folks were like, I don't know if we want to jump on him because of his kennel anxiety and everything, but a family in PA took a chance on him, brought Jax home, and said that it is the best thing they have ever done. And once he got out of there, he calmed down, and now he has a forever.
Aw, very nice.
Well, you know, and Matt, to bring attention to that is that animals like Jax here want to run around. So if you have like a lot of land, that's what they want to do. That's what they were bred to do, is just to move around. And when they get him in that kennel, I totally can understand why he would be a mouthy, anxious animal, 100%. So it's good to see that.
You never know what their history is before they get there. You know, that poor dog, it's in a kennel, doesn't know where it is. All of a sudden it's gone from a home to like inside four walls in a cage. And wouldn't you be anxiety
and other
ridden?
dogs surrounding?
Yeah, of course. So sometimes it's just a matter of getting owners that know how to handle a dog like that. All right, Maddie, thank you.
Buddy.
So this story keeps making headlines. The Miami Heat honored player Dwayne Wade by unveiling a statue of the basketball legend. He's now the first Heat player with a statue outside of the arena. However, while it's considered a great honor, many say it bears absolutely zero resemblance to Wade. And since the ceremony, the statue has gone viral for all the wrong reasons. Now, Wade spent all but one of his 16 years in the NBA with the Heat, helping them win 3 NBA finals. The 13-time All-Star and 8-time All-NBA honoree was inducted into the Hall of Fame last year. The statue was revealed 8 months after team president Pat Riley announced his plans to honor number 3. Now, what I understand, which is interesting about this whole thing, is Dwayne Wade was part of the design and sculpture of this statue all the way. So he approved it. It looks nothing like him.
Matt, our basketball kind of guy here on the show, I can't see it. I looked at it several times.
Yeah.
This thing is a disaster. It is going to be made fun of forever. Like, I've never seen anything like this. And there's been a couple bad statues. The one of Kobe in LA is not great, and it had a bunch of misspellings when they debuted it. The one for Shaq is great. This one, it's not even close to looking like him.
But then why would Dwayne Wade approve it? Like, he was with the artist the entire way. Like, every step of the way, he was with him with the process. If it didn't like it or it didn't look like him, why would he say, yeah, sure, okay, go ahead?
I mean, do you guys remember the prank they pulled on David Beckham? And they were like, oh, look at this statue, and it looks horrible. And he was like, no. Dwayne Wade knows better than this. Plus, his wife is a celebrity, and she had to, check it out, too.
Yes.
I don't get this.
Well, not only that, it does resemble somewhat Rocky. With the arms up in the air a little bit too, where you can see pictures. So you know that people are going to want to take pictures by it all the time. And you have a place where lots of people are coming. Not like it's going to be in a hall somewhere inside. Yeah. This is out there. I would think, and this day and age with 3D renderings, couldn't they have done something, at least with the face? Yeah. I don't know. But
I watched the guys on TNT, the NBA and TNT guys, and they were going off on this thing. I mean, Shaq and Charles Barkley.
Which are awesome.
So they were like, it's
That's why we need Shaq and Barkley. Quickly, Matt.
The memes alone have been worth it, though. So, I mean, it's just so bad.
All right. Hey, we got more trendy today's trends and tomorrow's talk.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
You already know what it is. I love it. Jackson knows. Hey, everybody. I am Mitch English.
I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash, your source for trending news and entertainment.
Man, we're so glad to have you here. We're going to have lots of fun. Guys, you're the only lady in this room right now.
I love it. I love these odds.
Yes.
My favorite.
We love having you in here. However, one thing you will never get, well, I hope, you never get to go into the men's restroom here. If you guys have been, all of us been in the
No, I've not ventured into the men's restroom.
As God is my witness, there is a sign in the men's restroom that says, do not bring food in here.
Yeah.
All right?
In the commode.
In the commode. I mean,
In the commode.
you sit down on the throne and there's a sign in there.
There's been pizza boxes and a couple of burrito wrappers.
Who is eating? Who is eating in the bathroom?
You got to replace it. You got to replace it. So it is what it is.
Right?
We have a sign in
on
it.
the toilet. What?
What?
I
never
will
been
take
to a
you in
restaurant?
there and show you.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Do not bring
goodness.
food into the bath. And I'm like, I go, I mean, you're that hungry. Wow.
Yeah.
God bless you. All right. So I've had this before. You know, you think about architecture. Have you ever thought why a bathroom stall doesn't go all the way down to the bottom?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Have you ever thought, anybody know why?
No.
Okay. Well, first off, you would think it's less wood, so it would not
cost
cost much.
effective,
All right, let's
sure.
take that out of there. But believe it or not, if there's an emergency, it's easy to see if there's anybody in there, number
Okay,
one.
so you can dip under.
Most, though, is for janitors, it's easier to clean under there. So think about
okay,
that.
That makes sense.
So,
I
and then
didn't
also
know
it's
that.
cheaper to get a door that only goes halfway.
Isn't that on a Seinfeld episode?
It was Seinfeld was talking about the. It's funny you say that about the handicap restroom.
Okay.
What do y'all say? Should people that are not handicapped be able to use the handicap bathroom? in
Yes.
their- yes,
I
right.
say yes. Yeah. I say yes.
And okay, the
As
only
long
time
as there's not another
Thank you.
handicapped person in there that needs to use it.
Thank you,
Yes.
because and if you've been in them things have got they have their own.
Dying, there's plush.
They're huge. They have their own sink in
Sink,
there.
yeah.
It's
They got rails.
Yeah,
You have
rails.
You got back problems like me. You need the rails.
and you can take a buffet in there.
All right. There you go.
You got
Guys,
more room for the spread.
You can take the buffet cart.
Take the put it in there. I mean, you've never seen how large
Can
these
you
things
order
are.
room service?
Yes, they'll deliver. I've had Postmates come to the bathroom, and they didn't knock on the door. They look through the little crack. Mr. English, go slide it under the door. Alrighty, that's a little insight for
No
us. Let's
food
jump
in the
into
men's
some
restroom.
trending news here. A woman says that she fractured her ankle after taking a plunge at the Museum of Ice Cream's sprinkle pool.
Oh, boy.
Emily Robinson, she needed surgery following a trip to the New York City hotspot. Her visit turned into the House of Horrors when she jumped into the sprinkle pool. Totally something different in other parts of the country. And
It's a Tuesday
not the
night for
tinkle
some
pool.
The Key West.
R. Kelly. Yeah, the circuit party.
Yeah, R. Kelly.
She broke her ankle. Now, the museum advertises its sprinkle pool as a colorful experiences that you actually will not find anywhere else. The experience first opened back in 2016 as a pop-up in the city's meatpacking district.
Wow.
Which is a real part of it. All right, so this, I mean, it looks cool. So it looks
cool.
like it's basically all foam, and you go in there, and it's like, the kids' play place, where they could be able to do it. That looks actually kind of
It
fun.
does look fun. Well,
But broke her ankle.
isn't it her fault?
I would think it seems like it should be enter at your own risk. And then I guess the Museum of Ice Cream. And what do you need to know
This
about
is
it?
America. It's no one's. It's always somebody else's
Everybody
fault.
else's fault. Nobody else's
It's
fault.
true, yeah.
And,
Put
hey,
some
it's
baby
ice
oil
cream.
in there and you got a real party.
I'm
Diddy party.
I'm surprised she didn't sue because they weren't real sprinkles.
That somebody would.
Somebody
though, right?
will, yes, for sure.
Right.
Somebody will come.
When
up
you
with
get out of
something.
there though, like, how do you get all the sprinkles? You got to walk around like with
Oh
the
no,
sprinkles out.
Matthew!
Like,
Oh no, Matthew! They lick it off.
And that's New York.
Is it odd that the ice cream museum is in the meatpacking district?
Yes.
Yep.
And my first real trip as an adult too, somebody said, "Oh, it's down in the meatpacking district," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." I didn't believe it, but there's the garment district. What other districts?
Hell's Kitchen, but I don't think they call it Hell's Kitchen.
I mean, we got the
anymore.
milk district.
Yeah, that's one thing I do love about Orlando. Yeah, because I live right next to the
Milk
milk
district.
Yeah. Well, the T.G. Lee, the milk people.
The
were-
milk, yes, that's right. Yes, that's why it's called the Milk District.
Anyway,
Okay.
and I know in Oklahoma City they have the film district because what they would do, they would have back in the old days, it was the middle of the country, so they could bring film there because it used to be highly flammable, and they built these theaters that are real thick. So you can watch something. Life, love, shopping. We're talking about it coming up when we return.
To dive into some life love shopping. Did you know if you hold a cup of warm coffee in your hand, you're more likely to judge someone as warmer and kinder than if you are holding an iced coffee? Yes, it is a new book. The author of the book, What Your Body Knows About Happiness, Janice Kaplan, joins us now to explain how to use your body to change your mind. Janice, welcome.
Thank you. Great to see you.
So you've worked with Parade Magazine, Good Morning America, and you've written a number of books, including a New York Times bestseller, The Gratitude Diaries. Now this new book goes a step further. How did you come up with the idea for what your body knows about happiness?
You know, when I wrote the Gratitude Diaries, I spent a year living more gratefully, and I discovered that you really can change your perspective. But then not all of us have every great day, and I had one particularly lousy day when all of my little gratitude tricks weren't particularly working. And then, for various reasons, I ended up on a boat at the end of the day. All of a sudden, the sun was shining, the water was sparkling, and I felt good. I didn't have to tell myself to feel good, I just did. And I thought, what's going on here? And I suddenly realized that we always think our mind is in control of everything, but our bodies are sending our minds the signals, and we have to figure out what those signals are that are going to make you happier.
So I love this idea of a cup of coffee making you kinder. How can holding a warm cup of coffee make you kinder?
Isn't that crazy? It's this fabulous research that was done out of Yale where they asked people, they got volunteers to come and they were going to describe certain people to them and see how they felt about them. Now, what they didn't know is that some of the volunteers were given iced coffee and some of them were given hot coffee. And the people who held the hot coffee for just a couple of minutes beforehand actually had warmer feelings than the people who held the iced coffee. And it's again, our bodies are sending those signals, and in a funny way, our minds think in metaphors. Warm heart, warm coffee, that must be a warm person I'm looking at. And there have been lots of other experiments like that too. They've shown that if you're sitting on a harder chair, you negotiate harder than if you're sitting on a soft chair. Maybe, soft chair, soft heart. And our bodies are constantly telling our minds things that we're not aware is going on. There was another experiment where people who were given a resume judged the person as being more serious if the resume were on a heavy clipboard than if it were on a light clipboard. Again, somehow their body was signaling this person must be a heavyweight, not a lightweight.
Interesting that you mentioned all these tactile experiences. You also say going somewhere new can up your happiness factor. Does it have to be a 5-star vacation?
Well, it's nice if it is. But,
yeah, right.
Absolutely not. Our brains may be wonderful, but they're kind of lazy and they like to get away with doing as little as possible. And so when everything is the same in a day, your brain kind of doesn't take in a lot of the stimulation. But as soon as there's something new, your brain goes on alert. And basically it's checking to make sure that everything is okay. But it can be something as simple as take a different road when you're driving to work. You'll see things differently. Go to a farmer's market and buy a fruit that you've never bought before. You'll suddenly taste things differently. Anything we can do to arouse our senses, to get our brains paying attention, gives us just a shot of energy and a shot of excitement.
I love it. Just a few seconds left. One other way that we might be able to be happier right now.
Okay, sit up straight, sit up a little bit straighter. Research shows that when you sit straight and hold your head up high, it actually changes your attitude. You're actually better able to access happy memories and happy emotions. When you're slumped, you do that when you're in a depressed mood and your body says, and your brain says, there must be something wrong. So sit up straight and you'll feel better and you'll like this interview and this book a lot better too.
Janice Kaplan, thank you so much. The book is What Your Body Knows About Happiness. It's available for pre-order right now on Amazon.
KSA Entertainment is dedicated to uplifting the communities we serve. Through KSA Cares, we're bringing awareness to the causes that matter most, supporting those who work tirelessly to make a difference. From honoring veterans to championing environmental responsibility, KSA Cares is committed to inspiring positive change. At KSA Entertainment, we're here for the stories that bring us closer. Innovate with us. We can make a difference.
Hey, with inflation still impacting wallets, we're all looking for ways to save big and small. So we've got a new tip for potentially lowering your auto insurance. Here's the story.
Shopping for that 2025 vehicle? Well, you'll need auto insurance, and Experian has a great way to possibly save you money. Their insurance marketplace with ongoing rate monitoring feature does the legwork so you don't have to by comparing policies from more than 30 top providers to potentially find you a better rate.
all of our costs have gone up, insurance included, as a result of inflation. So our groceries, our gasoline, auto insurance are all taking more money out of our wallet. Experian introduced its insurance marketplace to help address one piece of that puzzle. And we comparison shop on your behalf, essentially. When we find a better rate, we'll notify you of that. What we have found is that on average, people save about $800 a year, actually a little bit more. That's really significant when it comes to putting gasoline in the car or maybe buying groceries, but helping you better manage your finances.
And it's generally recommended to evaluate rates every time the policy is up for renewal. According to an Experian survey, utilizing a comparison shopping resource is the top method consumers will use in the future to research prices versus going directly to carriers.
Our insurance marketplace actually can help you bundle things like homeowners insurance and auto insurance, which could also bring you additional savings. We're often thought of as just a credit bureau, but actually, we're much more than that. We want to be a one-stop location to help people with all of their financial needs. And what people have told us is insurance is one of those areas where they need help.
For more info on the Experian Insurance Marketplace, visit Experian.com/insurance.
A British woman who applied for a job as a motorcycle stunt rider said her application was returned after nearly 50 years. It was apparently lost at the post office.
What?
70-year-old Tizzy Hodson said she mailed the application in January of 1976. She was hoping to land her dream job as a motorcycle stunt rider. The letter recently arrived in her mailbox with a note at the top saying, "Late delivery by the post office found behind a drawer, only about 50 years late."
Wow.
Hodson said she was never discouraged when her letter went unanswered. She went on to work as a snake handler, aerobatic pilot, and a flying instructor. Aerobatic pilot, I should say.
Okay, so hey, if you could take that picture again, Marilyn, of her. Okay, you guys seen the movie The Jerk? One of my favorite movies of all time.
Yes.
He runs off to the circus with the motorcycle lady. Tell me if that day they don't look alike.
That's 100% her.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Look, James, sweet baby,
Yes.
right there. Look, James, look up. No, right here. Look at that, now look at her. Yes or no?
Yes.
That looks
Yes.
just like the girl.
Yes.
Now, she had
I
more
would say
wild hair.
yes.
First off, I think this was awesome.
Yeah.
Number one, that you talk about a long time ago, 50 years ago.
50 years.
For her to do it. That is something people want to see,
Yeah.
like a woman doing that. So I can imagine feeling like her career was taken away from her.
Yeah.
But then, listen, I don't clean my house every day, but for 50 years not noticing something.
And that was stuck in the back of the drawer.
Right. So think about that as well.
How many other letters were stuck behind
Yes.
in the back of the drawer? How many relationships were lost? How many careers were ended?
Well, it sounds like a country song almost
That's
as you
it.
say it like that. So now, though, parents out there, you have an excuse if your kid wants to do something crazy and you say, they must have lost it at the post office.
I know we don't get into politics here on this show, but we did have an interesting conversation at lunch yesterday with regard to ballots and dropping them off at your county elections office or putting them in the mail and trusting that the post office will get them there. After reading this story, you can understand why people
totally
some
get
have
it.
reservations about not 100% trusting that their ballot will get there.
And here in Orlando, a postmaster in jail right now because he threw away mail-in ballots,
Yes.
which freaks me out.
Caught busted dumping ballots.
I got mine, and we talked about this
Yeah.
conversation. I got my mail. I was very happy. They even sent me a sticker. I filled it out and I send it off. Right next day, because it's local, it's a
Yes.
local thing. They send me an email that says, "Hey, your signatures don't match."
Which I think is great because at least they're paying attention.
Somewhat.
Yes.
But you've seen my signature.
Yes.
I mean, I have a very eclectic signature, right?
Don't show it off if somebody.
I am not going to show it off, but you know,
You couldn't copy
Jackson
it if you wanted
has
to.
seen it for years.
Yes.
You know, I've known her for 25 years. So anyway, they look at it. This is the conversation. I call the lady. They tell me what number to call, and they say it needs to be cured. So I call the number up. The lady goes. She goes, "Yeah." I give her all my information, and she goes, "Okay." And oh, wow, that's a signature. Oh, okay. And I go, "Yeah." And she goes, "Wow." Okay. It kept on going. Wow. Starts laughing like this, right? This is a true story. And so then I go, all right. I go, what do I need to do? She goes, well, you need to fill out this form, yada, yada, yada. This is the conversation. All right, you need to fill out my end of the heavens. She goes, you need to fill out the TPS report. You can mail it in. Sarah, come here and look at the signature. What? God is my witness. She said, and then come over, and the other lady's laughing at my signature. And I go, she goes, oh, that's a crazy signature. I go, well, I'm on TV, and I don't think she heard me because she was laughing so much. And I go, I signed it a lot. Like, I felt this big. Anyway, so I had to fill out another form, send them a copy of my driver's license, and then mail it off. And then we got into the discussion of these electronic signature things.
Yes.
When you get your driver's license, it's a little tiny thing about that big where you got to write your name. That looks nothing like my eclectic signature.
No, it doesn't have enough space for you to do. I have the same issue because mine goes a little bit crazy too. But and then even at the grocery store, when you go to pick up a prescription, have you ever noticed half the time those pads don't even work? I'm like, how do they even know? Like I'm even signing for this thing?
But it does bring okay. And then they said, well, you can also drop it off.
Yes.
Okay. And I go, well, then why didn't I just vote? I just could have went up and voted.
Right.
And
That's the thing.
I think I'm going to do that next year.
And then my other question to you was, if you go in and cure it, so to speak, well, why just bother with that? Just go in and physically vote.
That's
Are
the
you
point.
able to do that?
It takes too long.
If it's early voting in your area, but it takes too long. Yeah, and my wife, she's like, I'm going to go in. I'm going to go do it. And it's right down the street. So from now on, I'm going to start doing that.
You're going to do that, yeah.
I think it's the best thing to do. Yeah. We got more must-watch movies?
Yes, Maria, based on the opera star Maria Callas. It's Angelina Jolie's new role. It's our must-watch movie of the week. We're going to give you a sneak peek and see what you think about it.
Don't go anywhere. We're going to have some fun right here on Daily Flash.
We don't mail it in here.
No, we don't. We phone it in. That's what we do.
Flash. It is the story of the world's greatest opera singer who retreats to Paris in the 1970s. She wants to escape her life in the public eye. This one starring Angelina Jolie. It's our must-watch movie of the week, Maria.
I'd like to walk with you through your life. Should I call you Maria or Callas? Tell me how it felt to be on stage.
An exaltation, an intoxication. I thought the stage itself would burn.
Sometimes this thing happens, the thing that's happening right now.
There's a point where self-confidence becomes a kind of insanity.
How is that for a position for the piano, madam?
It's not right, but I'm nice. So leave it.
Perhaps we could speak of your life away from the stage.
There is no life away from the stage.
Our readers want to know what the hell happened to you.
You've never been free. Forget the music.
Your voice will not return.
I am in control. I will sing when I am ready to sing. God.
Let's go.
My life is opera. There is no reason in opera.
Had she been a fat lady, this would be perfect to say, it ain't over till the fat lady sings, but it is for us. Right? Bye-bye.